Hello to each of you. This is the Discussions in Body Art podcast. I'm your host, John Johnson, and I'm glad you're listening. If you want to contribute to body art education, visit my studio's website, newflowerstudio.com, and click through to the survey page. Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. If you're new to Discussions in Body Art, let me remind you of just a few things. Only a limited amount of audio format podcast sessions are uploaded to the free distribution sites. On Patreon, though, is all the additional audio files and some additional blog content. But also, there's 3 subscription tiers for those who want to read at the lowest price, then the audio version of those same sessions, and as of August 2025, there's a new video tier, which is the result of me acquiring a dedicated video recording space. Whatever podcast site you're on now, I hope you subscribe. And if you're already a Patreon member, but not subscribed to me, look for the Discussions in Body Art podcast. My username on Patreon is xdreadjohnx. In this session, I'm going to discuss something many piercers might consider a little taboo or controversial. That may be a little hyperbolic, but piercers sometimes have pretty strong feelings on the topic of corks. If you're a health inspector, pay attention. I'm going to reveal a little bit about the piercer's mind, the need to think in black and white terms, and the practice of not thinking critically about what they read, and reading only enough to validate their pre-existing opinion, which is a lot of times coincidentally in agreement with whatever the newest, coolest fad is among piercers. With a session title like Corks, you may be a little confused about how that applies to piercing. For the first years, probably a couple decades or so of body piercing, piercers put corks on the end of their needles, either right at the time of a piercing or shortly after, for the purpose of protecting themselves from the sharp end of a now contaminated needle. In medical terms, this is called recapping. Syringes or other devices with needles that a healthcare professional uses on patients are manufactured with a protective shield, a cap that's removed when the syringe or whatever is being used, and that cap can be snapped back into place after use, so no one has to be exposed to the needle once it's considered contaminated. Obviously, technology advances, so over the years these medical devices have become safer. If you received any COVID-19 vaccine doses, the syringes probably had a spring-activated shield, for example. Once you were given the shot, the plastic cover for the needle automatically snapped into place as a safety control for the healthcare worker. Well, piercing needles are shipped from the manufacturer with a cap-like feature too. Sometimes it's a little plastic sleeve at the tip of each needle individually. Sometimes it's a foam cushion covering the ends of several needles bundled together in a container. Ultimately, these cap-like things protect the needle's sharp point during shipping and storage. Nothing about these caps makes them suitable for recapping a used piercing needle. So again, piercers for years used corks, like literal natural wood corks, on the end of their used needles to safely remove them from the client's body or to transfer them to the sharps container. Unless we lend credibility to mechanical piercing devices like the always hated piercing gun, there aren't any mechanical options built into our piercing needles to make them safer. Piercing needles pass all the way through the body nearly 100% of the time, so there's no possible spring-activated mechanisms able to click a shield into place. That would require a miracle of piercing engineering. By comparison, needles on medical syringes enter the body and are pulled back out, so safer engineering controls can be attached to the syringe. There is a flaw with natural corks. They're brittle, and a needle can crack the cork, resulting in a higher risk of a needle stick. I'm not sure if there's any real evidence that sterilizing them with steam negatively affects them in any way, but it definitely results in little bits of debris flaking off, and there's some staining of the gauze that's touching them during the sterilization process. This means they're not super practical for sterilizing in the studio. For several years now, some of the body art supply companies that sell corks have offered nitrile options. They're dense but soft enough to easily insert a needle into. In my opinion, they're superior to natural corks. Okay, so here's the issue. OSHA's bloodborne pathogen standard says, in paragraph D, part 2, section 7, contaminated needles and other contaminated sharps shall not be bent, recapped, or removed. So here we run into a situation where we must consider the mission of OSHA, which is to create workplace safety standards for everyone working in the United States. When the bloodborne pathogen standard was written, back in 1991, they were focused on the risk to healthcare providers, not body piercers or tattoo artists. This is the end of this version of this session, but it's the halfway point for the version on Patreon. There's also additional blog content there that's free, so go to patreon.com/xdredgeonx and check it out, or subscribe at the free level. Visit newflowerstudio.com and check out the survey on the podcast page.